All right. So today's podcast is brought to you by
Kellogg's.
I wish because I do love the red strawberries, the red berries thing, the red berries
Of all
box.
the things that you would go to for Kellogg's, the red strawberries, because
Bruh,
I was thinking cereals.
it's a good source of calcium. Yeah, the red berry cereals. You don't know nothing about that? You disappointed.
No, I didn't say that.
I can't like
I
strawberries.
didn't fully say that.
I bet you wish that I said the grape box.
The great.
I don't.
I'm more of a Frosted Flakes guy myself.
Oh man,
But you know what my favorite cereal of all time is?
poor people's cornflakes with sugar in it.
Reese's Puffs.
Really?
Oh my
Bruh, I'm not
gosh.
gonna lie to you. I'm more of a Raisin Bran man.
You are.
I'm so serious.
No, that is disgusting.
Ow.
I have eaten Raisin Bran legitimately, and this is not a joke, one time in my life. And it was in basic training. Everybody else took the other good cereal boxes, so I had to get the freaking crappy Raisin Bran because I was dying of hunger. So I thought. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was upset.
Wait. Did you? Okay. Was it the regular Raisin Bran or was it the Raisin Bran Crunch? Because the Raisin Bran Crunch is fire. Like it's fire
It doesn't matter.
with all the little honey clusters in it.
You know what it didn't have?
What?
Flavor.
Bruh, it's got tons of flavor.
But you know what the funny thing is? I actually almost enjoyed it a little bit.
Bruh, because you eating the regular ass Raisin Bran.
Let me tell you something.
That's disgusting.
Let me tell you something.
I mean, with a little sugar.
Let me throw something at you here.
Go ahead. I'm ready to catch.
There was a point in basic training where I ate a waffle off of the dirty ground.
The hell's wrong with you? Why would you eat a dirty waffle?
Well, it was breakfast, okay? And I was walking back over to, I guess we were eating under a tree because we were outside and they didn't want us to go into whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, walking out there and I dropped the plate. Or I fumbled the plate. And what happens is my bacon falls off and a waffle falls off. I saved the rest.
You dropped some bacon?
I dropped some bacon.
What did I tell you
Now,
about that?
listen,
Bro?
I could not salvage the bacon. The bacon was coated in that fine dust. And I was like, I picked up the waffle though and I went,
The waffle would be even worse because the waffles
you know what the
have
worst part
pockets.
is? You know what the worst part is?
What?
I didn't have any syrup for those waffles.
You didn't have any syrup?
I ate them dry.
So you ate dry, dusty ass waffles with pockets in them. So there's even more dust on them than the bacon had.
I wouldn't necessarily call them pockets.
They're little
Divots?
divots. Divots?
With a V.
I call them pockets.
V for Victor.
I call them pockets.
V for Venusaur.
Oh.
I do love me a Venusaur.
Okay.
I
anyway.
believe that he's the most underrated Pokemon.
All right, look. So okay.
Okay.
So now that you've done that,
Segue.
that brings us into
Segue.
We're going to segue into the topic. All right. Thank you for that word.
You're welcome.
Okay. The topic of today is say it. What is the topic? I forgot.
Oh my God.
Say it.
The topic of today is how you raise your children, okay? Is there a point or a critical point where there is too much parenting and it ruins the child?
Now, as a disclaimer, myself as well as Brandon, we do not have children.
That we
I
know
have
of.
that we know of, that I know of. Oh Lord. But like I've babysitted a couple times. I took care of some children,
A couple times.
some childrens. Yeah, a couple times, man. I'm pretty good. Like I honestly,
How many is a couple times? I'm just curious.
a lot of times, bro. I've
Oh, now
babysat
it's
a lot of kids.
times. That's
Okay,
interesting.
I've babysat a lot of kids.
Sure.
And I think I'm pretty good. One day I want children of my own. I think it's gonna be a great time. But even though we do not have children, that means we still have to deal with the older children that we feel aren't parented. I'm not gonna say bad, but I'm gonna say maybe not so great.
Not so great. Okay.
Let's just say that.
So, in the response to that, okay, or I guess the real question is what are the critical actions that parents do, such as coddling, such as not letting the kid get a job? Think of your examples. What are those things that you think are doing more detriment than they are building to a person's readiness for adulthood?
overall, I'm gonna sit up here and I'm gonna just say, when you treat your child as if they're some type of science project, as if like, and I say that meaning because some people are just too much with their children. Like some people think like they just need to be over their children all the time. They need to correct it. Like when molding, like it's bad when it's like I can understand molding,
Mm.
but when you tell your children this is what you're gonna do, I don't care if you don't like it. This is just what you're gonna do, right?
Mm.
I don't care about anything that you like. I don't care about anything that you want to do. I don't care about how you feel about this. This is what I want you to do because you know what I'm saying. And then it comes to the point where now you're just trying to live out your dreams through your child. You're trying to live vicariously through your child.
So then, do you think when somebody says, "Don't give up on your dreams," do you think that that is them trying to bring about their old dreams that they kind of let die?
Yes and no, maybe. I think if the child doesn't seem interested in it, then yeah, that's
But
probably what you're trying to do.
but there is a level of, okay, you say if the child isn't interested in it, that don't have them do it. I think that's a kind of like a catch-22, because then you can say, oh, my child was really interested in violin, and then they started doing it and they didn't want to do it anymore, and then you make them stop. And did you just stop the next Ling Ling? I think that's a famous.
no, man. I mean, you're talking about pushing your children.
Well, I guess that is okay.
I think okay, me personally,
Mm.
and I can't sit up here because we don't know what's wrong or right. We don't know who's going to be what in the future.
Mm,
It's
that's
just the
fair.
way the world works.
Yep.
I would push for it, but I wouldn't go overboard with it. It's just
Mm.
like, look, if they just like, you know what, I'm done with this. If I know that they have a general interest in it, I'm going to
Mm.
try to push them a little bit in that direction. But I won't force them. I won't, because there's some parents out there that's just like, no, you're going to sit down and you're going to practice this,
Mm.
right?
So, but at what point? Okay, so like, in terms of a lot of very prestigious college wrestlers, they go into that, I would call it like an alpha mindset of, you know, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to do it this way, and you're going to push yourself. Doesn't matter if you're bleeding, you know, fingers broken. You're going to practice today. You're doing this. I think that takes a very specific breed. But at the same time, if the parents were to say, you're generally interested, but you know, I I don't know if you're really going to do well at this. Do you really unlock your child's potential? And at what cost do you unlock that child's potential? Because it can go both ways. It can go, oh, yep, you know what? I pushed them just enough or hard enough that they went and they won a national championship. Or it can go the opposite, and the kid gets burnt out on whatever sport, academic thing you're trying to get them to go after, and they end up hating it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you should just let your child choose. Um,
Hmm.
because there are some instances where, like, if I had a child and they were growing up and they said they wanted to do this, and there, hey, there's a time when you got to stop. You know what I'm saying? Because if your
Hmm.
child is trash at whatever it is that they're doing, and I mean, if they still want to do it, then let them do it. But if they're trash and they quit, let them quit. Let them quit.
I get that to a point. I think there are definitely anomalies in that area.
Yeah.
Because there's a common phrase, and I believe it goes, talent. No, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard,
Correct.
or it's something.
That's actually how it goes.
So, I think that there is a level of perseverance that has to be brought, and this applies especially to certain sports and things like that, where I kind of wish, I'm a pretty decent soccer player. I kind of really wish at times that I had been able to be put on a more advanced soccer team to learn, and maybe played in college. But my mother had 6 kids and could not afford to do that, and that's totally understandable. Love my mother to death. I think it all worked out how it needed to work out, but I would like that if my child wanted to in the future potentially pursue something like that, I'd like to give them the availability. And if they did go after it, the drive to say, hey, you're doing this. This is your opportunity to really learn and grow. I think that's something that I want to be able to do for my kids because it just wasn't a real opportunity for me.
Right. Let's get, you know what? And that's all fine and dandy. Let's get to what we really want to talk about.
Okay,
right?
what's that? What's that, Lindsay? Could you explain to me exactly what that is?
Okay, man. Like I hate it. I'm not okay. I don't hate, but I strongly dislike adults who have no idea about life when they're older.
Is this a lack of confidence, a lack of life experience? Is this the fault of the parents? What is it? Is it a combination?
I think it's a combination. It's definitely a combination. You can't say that it's all on the parents, but the parents do play a big role in whatever's going on. Like how can an adult not know how to, you know what I'm saying, like maintain his finances? How can an adult not know how to cook for himself? How can an adult know how to not bathe for themselves? You know?
I can definitely understand on some levels people not being able or knowing how to do certain things. Like, especially in split families where you've got a mother or just a father, you know, and a mix of different sexes there. You know, people who are often raised without a father figure might not be as good mechanically. You know, that's kind of the case for me. I really didn't learn that stuff because my dad wasn't really in the picture. And I kind of developed past that point.
That's understandable though. But I'm talking about those people with both parents, bruh. With both parents who coddle their child, like who think that like I mean like the conversations where they don't have the sex talk with them, where it's like, no, we're gonna just you're banned from ever hearing about sex, right? And those same adults are the worst ones when it comes to like, said they have like tons of babies. You know what I'm saying? Like
or they're almost deathly afraid of engaging in anything.
And they think they're gonna catch AIDS, you know, from kissing.
Hey, it's 2019. Kissing AIDS is coming.
I don't.
Yep.
Kissing.
One second, you're like, I mean, she's pretty cute, or he, you know, whatever it is, and then you're, and they're like, I'm sorry.
Boom.
You've got kissing AIDS. What? The first case we've ever seen.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's definitely a possibility. Like, it's definitely a possibility. Like, there's so many things. Yo, remember all the old diseases that were out? Do you remember like MRSA? MRSA, whatever. We call it MRSA.
That's still about.
That's still about?
Yeah.
Bro, I ain't heard about MRSA in like 15 years.
Dude, a guy in basic training got MRSA. And it was in my room. It was in my room.
Yo,
the guy got
no.
So
you gotta get out.
We were in a little bay,
get
right?
out.
Just a small room of about 6 to 8 people, right? Because it was an old barracks. The guy ended up getting a foot infection off of a ruck march, and he didn't treat his feet well enough. So MRSA got into it, and he had to go to the hospital, right? He thought it was a spider bite at first. Oh. So they were like, privates, somebody, I'm not going to say his name for whatever reason. I know his name, but.
Don't say it. It's embarrassing.
His name is.
If you say his name, I'm going to look for him, bro.
No, he's an officer.
Even better.
Yep.
Even better. That gives me more of a reason because he can't touch me. I'm not enlisted no more.
So he got MRSA, and the drill sergeants were like, privates, we have to clean this barracks with bleach top to bottom. Your room specifically has to be double dosed with bleach. At everything that the land touches, the sky, the air, whatever he came in contact with, MRSA is deadly. And I was like, oh my gosh. So our room smelled like bleach for like the next 24 hours. We scrubbed it. Everything. We went underneath his mattress. We went on his mattress. All of it.
Okay, so that's MRSA, because I swear I haven't heard about MRSA since I was in elementary school. And then there was like bird flu. Would you get that from like dirty pigeons or something? I mean, pigeons are already dirty.
Well,
but now you're talking about like you're talking about AIDS pigeons with AIDS.
AIDS pigeons.
or maybe like super herpes or
You know
something.
what?
I don't know. Whatever
The
they got.
craziest thing about, especially, okay, you remember swine flu. I know a guy that got swine flu.
I remember swine
He was
flu.
fine.
What about mad cow disease?
That's different.
That's still a thing?
Yeah, but that it would be in very underdeveloped countries where they're not able to treat the livestock.
So, like, oh, damn. Damn.
Yeah. So, anyways, um, with swine flu, bird flu, there was this big thing about, oh no, if a part of the population gets it, it's going to spread like crazy because it'll be airborne. But the thing is, it wasn't really killing that many people unless they had a compromised immune system. They were young, they were old.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, like, the quote unquote flu, that's where the real damage is coming from because they can't get better,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their immune systems aren't developed. For the average human adult, these infections and diseases, I guess we'll call them infections or viruses, are fightable, you know. But part of it is you have to take all of your antibiotics,
Of course.
because if you don't, you get a drug-resistant strain, and that if that spreads and it gets stronger, they've got to treat with other drugs. And there's only so many drugs that they've developed that will fight it. And then if they run out, quarantine them because you got nothing left.
Yeah, but to get, bruh, MRSA though, MRSA is still out here, alive and kicking.
Yeah.
Bruh, I don't trust nobody no more.
Anyways,
so back on this, the kid, right? Like people who are coddled, right?
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a few people who don't know what a bank account is. They don't know how to get one. They don't know what sex is. They've never been to a party. They've never really interacted with a bunch of kids. And you know what those same kids do? Those same kids, right? Those same kids, they either grow into assholes or they grow into, what's the word I'm looking for?
it's in your head. I don't know.
They're like little, they just stay to themselves, man. They just stay to themselves. They have absolutely no social skills whatsoever.
Okay.
So it pisses me off because I gotta work with those people sometimes. It does, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people can be like, they can be your colleagues, they can be your mates, they can be friends.
You are literally saying different words for people you know. It can be your peers. It can be your friends. That person who lives next to you, your next door neighbor.
I say your mate.
Okay.
Your mate.
Yeah, but we're not British, so like we're not going. Yeah, your mates. Oh, are you talking about your mate, like mate?
What
You're
the
not
fuck
thinking.
does that even mean?
I don't know. I watch a lot of nature documentaries.
What is that?
Rock paper scissors.
Bruh, no.
Sexual rock paper scissors.
You know what? The person you be smashing, all right? The person you be smashing, all right? That person can be just as messed up. Because sometimes you might have to teach that person tons of stuff because their parents didn't. And it might be a great person. It might be a wonderful person, but they have no idea about life.
Right. Well, and that's, you almost want friends to teach them how to, if you want to call it adult. I think that's such a dumbed down way to say living a normal life. But you don't want to do that in a relationship.
No.
Because here's what it turns into. It turns into you being the father figure or the mother figure for whoever that is. And you want somebody who's on your maturity level. That you want them on your equal. Because
everybody doesn't know everything. Like
No. Yeah, right. But there is a certain level where you go, oh my gosh, my life knowledge and my experience is way more than this person. I'm having to basically show them the ropes. You almost don't, in my opinion, don't want that because it becomes a.
But what does that pertain to exactly? Because there's some things like, for example, let's use me as an example.
Well, you're talking about somebody you're smashing. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
like somebody you're trying to get into maybe a relationship.
Yeah, but let's use me.
Okay.
Right? Let's get personal.
Oh my gosh.
Get real personal. All right. Me, I am I will cut your ass off. Like I love people.
Will you?
Don't do that. Don't thug me like that.
So
Don't thug me. Don't you thug me. Don't you thug me.
You just cut people right off. Just whenever they're what's the criteria for your cutoff?
Everything. I make my own criteria. There's my own rules.
Okay,
Unwritten as rules.
I've got something for you.
Anyway.
You're a liar and your feet don't match.
Bruh, don't talk about my feet.
Left and right, baby. You wear two different shoes. I'm just saying.
That's not a thing. No one says that. And no one's going to say that. That's cool to you?
Mm.
That's cool?
I'm cooler than the other side of your pillow.
My other side of the pillow ain't cool.
Okay.
Because I keep my hands under it.
Weird flex, but okay.
Anyway, but some people, like myself, right? Like, I had to grow up and I had to learn how to be emotionally intelligent, right? I might have been intelligent in life. I might have seen people go through certain things. I might have seen some traumatic events in my life. But I don't necessarily know how to be emotionally intelligent, right? Sometimes I lose my temper.
Do you?
Sometimes.
No.
I've controlled it.
You are calm, cool, and collected all the time.
Right?
It's shocking to
I
me.
know, right? You in the presence of greatness, right? I'll tell you. All right? Every time you see me, you should shake my hand, bruh.
I don't know where that hand's been.
Under my pillow.
Folks, he's keeping to the script, and that's what we like to see here.
But I wasn't but does that mean that I should not? Does that mean that I have maturing to do? I mean, technically, everyone has some type of maturing to do. You know?
Oh, no, I agree. But, okay, so for instance, I've been on dates with people who are like 5 years younger than me.
Who you been dating?
Not in a while, but I went on some dates with some younger people than me, and I was like, yeah, they're attractive. Let's go on a date. Let's see how it goes. And then I start talking to them on the date because I'm trying to get to know them.
Ooh.
And I start to realize that, oh my gosh, I don't have a lot to talk to this person about. We're just on different levels of understanding and maturity as to how life operates.
But how well did you get to know them, though?
It was, really.
Did you get to know them on the inside?
Wow, that's a highly specific. No, not always.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about?
What?
Did you get to know them on the inside?
I don't know. Why are you saying it like that?
What do you mean? That's how you say it.
Say what?
Yeah. Inside.
This is a weird bit you're doing. This is so weird.
You don't know nothing about that. Get to know that person, man.
Oh, is that
Stop being nasty?
Well, I wasn't. You were. Did you hear you were?
Yeah, man. You gotta get to know.
Did you get to know them by their heart
on the inside?
Stop that.
Did you?
You're a serial killer.
Did you, sir? Did you get to know them on the inside?
To an extent, I think you grazed the surface to a level.
Now, did you smash?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay.
Take that.
All right.
Take that. Anyways, so there's a certain point where you realize we're on different levels, and I didn't want to be like a father figure. Like, hey, okay, you need to do this. You need to set yourself up for this in the future. That's nice, and that's something a friend should do for somebody else. But I've realized that people don't always take your advice, and it's frustrating when you're trying to give them good advice. You're trying to give them sound, sage advice,
right?
And it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that next week. I'm like, hey, okay, you're not. I know you're not. You don't have to lie to me. But like, when it comes to being with somebody, I've just found it more important as I've gotten older for them to be on the same level as me, and it's kind of a weird age thing right now, 26. When I was 24, 25, I was like, that's fine to go a little bit lower, like early 20s. But then the higher it goes, if I stay in that range, I'm just like, I've got nothing in common with you, really.
Mm.
I mean, you have little things, but it's like there's a level of maturity that still needs to happen.
You think their parents could have helped them out with that?
I think that there are definitely certain situations where parents will impart things on their children and they pick up on it and they say, you know what, they have probably experienced something in their life. I don't want to go down the same path as them. That I've seen where they hurt and where they're happy, and I want to excel in the happiness, and I
Mhm.
want to learn from their mistakes. Some do. Some do that, but not everybody does.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's some people I've met, and I just want to go up to their parents and be like, "Yo, your parenting
Not great.
is trash."
Well, of course, we don't know the situations, which is hard, but still, yeah, there's a level of, man,
Nah, I'm gonna just call it like I sees it.
you,
Call it like I sees it. This product that you're giving me to hang around with,
take it back.
trash. Sorry, it's trash. All right, take it back. Manufacture it. I don't care what you do. I don't know. Maybe you're missing some pieces. Because I like mine all together. Right. I like mine all together.
No assembly required.
Yes. Take this shit back and fix it. All right. I don't need that. I don't want this. Like this is like it looks great. It's a good draft. Right. It's a good draft.
I've made some changes, and by changes I do mean I put red all over this and I put it through a shredder. I think you should start again.
Yeah.
Just a friendly.
Yeah. You doing nothing but giving them reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo.
A lot of carrots. A lot of little carrot, the carrot mark.
Exactly.
Like, you know what you should have done? Something different.
I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I mean, you gotta think there are so many different walks of life, and especially in the United States where a lot of, how do I want to say this? A lot of opportunity, and we don't live in a third world country where it's like, oh, where am I getting my next meal from? Where am I sleeping tonight? It's, I wake up in the morning, I'm in a house. I'm going to my job. Very blessed to have a job. Some people don't have jobs out there. And then I think as it gets easier for the general population, that breeds a level of comfortability, and we take it incredibly for granted, and we just want to make it easier. Like, I don't want my kids to have a hard life, but at the same time, I want them to learn from their mistakes, and they're not going to be coddled, I hope. I really hope that, we do things the hard way sometimes, just to show them, hey, sometimes you've got to do it this way. It does work. It's a little more elbow grease. It's a lot of sweat. It's a lot of,
Yeah, I mean, I came up with this little plan because, like, over the years, because I haven't had children early, and I'm not knocking anyone who does. Like, children are a great blessing. You know what I'm saying? They're a great blessing to anyone who ever has it. There's some people out here who can't have children.
Yeah, which
right.
Is terrible.
And there's some people that just ain't shit to their children.
Until tax season.
Woo woo. But me per se, like, I know, because I'm really into the investment game. I really believe that investing should be the basis. You know what I'm saying? It should be a basis. It shouldn't be a goal. It should be the basis of your life. You know what I'm saying? Because that is how. Because when you really think about it, you invest in everything, right? Everything, right? Which is why I call myself an LD investor, right? Little segue right there.
Oh my gosh!
Branding myself. Don't hate.
An origin story.
No, I mean, I'm not telling the origin story.
When he was just a boy, he knew investing was the only way to go. Cutscene to you. You're over there. Yeah, man. You want to get these airheads? Because they're about 25 cents a pop.
Don't tell my story like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't tell my story like that.
Switch back to the narrator. He hustled the game to get the gains. I don't fill in a scene there. Cut back to narrator. And now, in a sound studio that's not really his, he's writing his story in yellow ink. Because you're making that money. That's obviously the tie-in there. Gold. It's more of a yellow.
I like that. I like that.
Don't do that. It's very hard to read.
I'll definitely hit you up when my Orange movie comes out. Story, whatever.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have a very dramatic. Dun, 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 dun.
Anyway, sir, when I have
Yeah.
my first child, look, a cardinal. When I have my first, like for those that don't know, in the studio there's a big ass window that we haven't foamed up yet, and it's some beautiful trees out here, and there's
Look at that pelican!
And there is a cardinal.
So
I have
outstanding.
never seen a cardinal in real life.
Wow.
Look at it, man.
That's literally the state bird for like 20 states, and I know that's an exaggeration.
I know, but I've never seen it in real life.
Is it red?
It's red.
So it's bloods.
With a black beak. It's bloodied up. Oh, it flew away.
Oh,
it must have got some blood flying to be doing.
Ah!
Not blood walking.
That's a crow, sorry.
Yeah.
Or a raven.
You're birds, right? No, you're birds. Because right now you bird tripping.
Oh, bird tripping.
You're set tripping. It's bird tripping.
I don't.
Anyway, for my children, right? As soon as my first child is born, they're going to have an account. They have to have an account, right? They have to have an account that will accrue compound interest, obviously. When they turn, I will not tell them about said account. Won't tell them at all. When they turn 19, 20, no, not 19. That's a horrible age. When they turn 23, 22, 23.
Okay.
Whichever time I feel like they're a little bit more mature.
So let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Not to cut you off.
What's up?
What if you feel that their level of maturity and interest in investing, especially, is, let's say, at 15? If you think that they're mature enough, are you going to open them up to using that?
No.
Okay.
Because at 15, your mind's not fully developed yet.
Yeah, we don't know. Your kid could be a legit investor at 15.
No. There's two. Okay, if he's a legit investor, then he'll figure out a way to make his own money. See?
He could be making Papa more though.
Nah, I'm good. He got to follow the rules because at the age of 15, you don't know. Your mind's just not developed yet.
So you're saying if he gets I've saved this over 15 years of your life, here you go. It's gonna be like a handout, and then
exactly
they're
that's
not
what he's
gonna learn
feel
the hard
like.
way.
Exactly. It's like there's too many things out here in this world. Like for example, me, right? I consider myself a kid who had a good head on his shoulders, right? But I had one weakness, and that one weakness was women, right? So I dated a whole bunch of women, and I fell in love countless times, and I was just spending money, bro. I was spending money. I was helping people, doing all these crazy things, and in my mind, I just couldn't understand it. I was like, well, why don't these girls love me? Why are they taking my money and they don't love me? Why are they, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, you don't understand that until you get older or until you've been through so much bullshit that it's almost like second nature.
Weird transition.
What's up?
Do you know what your love language is?
I do.
Okay.
I do. My love language is I love acts of service. Is that one of them?
Yeah.
And physical touch.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, there's something called a love language quiz. It's very interesting. Basically, it puts you in a category of 5 different love languages. So physical touch, quality time, acts of service, receiving or giving gifts, and words of affirmation. So my 2 high scoring ones, and you can score high in multiple different categories, are physical touch and quality time. But I think, especially at a young age, people don't realize how love languages play into, their life. And it's a level of, immaturity.
Yeah, and that's something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
So with that being said, no, my child will not receive any type of funds from me at the age of 15. I don't care how good he is. He still needs to develop. There's still things that he has not experienced about himself and about the world.
That's fair. I can respect it. Yeah.
And until he get the hell out of my house, or she,
you don't
want to be sexist,
right?
The whole Me Too thing is going on. You want to make sure that I want to make sure that they're ready,
Right.
And one thing of being ready, they got to get the hell out of my house. Right?
Um, what is the age for you that the kid needs to be gone?
Um,
Is it a flexible number?
you know what? It is a flexible number. For them to be gone, they need to at least be an adult. They need to act like an adult. So, for example, like we talked the other day, right, the other night, and I liked the idea that your mother had for you,
Yeah, what's that?
that she put into place about so once they graduate high school,
Yep.
they will have a whole year,
Yep.
to find out what they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
either college or
Working, whatever it
or
was.
working military, whatever. And they can stay there. They're free. They're free to stay there. Not
Yep.
a problem.
Yep.
But after that year, they got to start paying rent.
Yep.
Because that is how the real world works.
Yeah. And, that's something that at the time, especially when my mom raised my rent, I wasn't tickled about by any means. I was like, come on, really? I mean, I understand paying a little bit of rent, but, I could be saving so much more money if you let me, pay only this much. But it was a level of responsibility that had to be had. The deal was you could go to school even if you were doing online classes. You didn't have to pay rent at home,
Right.
but as long as you were in school, right? And then the other thing was you get that year of basically like, okay, figure out what you're gonna do. Are you gonna go to school? Are you gonna work? Find a good job, something like that. It allowed for like, oh, I'm 18. I don't want to live here anymore. I want to go. Um, and it gave you kind of the option of figuring that out, but it also put a timeline. It wasn't, whenever you figure it out, that's okay. We're parents. We're not going to kick you out on the street. It was a matter of, listen, this is an expense in your life that is never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
It is something you must plan for. It's something you must budget for. And this house is not a guarantee.
Right.
It's not a place to be comfortable and sit and wait. And that being said, I bought this house at 25. I'm the first kid in my family to buy a house. I know, yeah. I saved up a bunch of money. I started paying $200 a month at my parents' house, and then after a year, it went up to $300, and it kind of capped out there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
I ain't capping it there.
Okay, well, to each their own. And I've talked to people that are like, you pay $300 at your parents' house? I was like, yeah, it's rent. It was cheaper than anything, and the food was free. I had limited bills, maybe like a cell phone bill, at one point a car payment, but I bought a used car at the time and I paid it off pretty quickly. And in that amount of time, I was able, through getting better jobs, to save a lot of money. And I got to the point I was 25. I was still at home. I was doing still the National Guard, working full time. It's not like I was wasting my time, but I started realizing that, what, I had about 10 grand saved up. I said, you know what? I was about to hit my 6-year point in the Guard, which allowed me to get a VA home loan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if I wait just a couple more months, I can go do that. I'm not going to move out and get a place. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to save money for this house, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I also thought of the opportunity of, I had money saved up. I was like, I could go. I really like Scotch. I was like, I could go on a Scotch trip. I could go on a tour to like Scotland. I was talking to my realtor at the time about it, and she was like, yeah, you know what? Honestly, I think you should go travel before you go get a house. I think, you're young. This is the time to do it. And I thought about it.
I agree.
But I thought about it, and I was like, I have spent all this time saving this money for the purpose of getting a home, to be able to put my money into something.
Mm-hmm.
I found it a better investment to invest in a property, into a place where I was going to live, than going out and traveling, because the military has allowed me a lot of travel, actually.
I mean, but some people don't go into the military.
That's
why,
fair.
That's
That's
why
fair.
I said
But
that.
for me, it worked. I just recently went to Germany on a training exercise. I went to Guatemala. I've been around.
See that, and that right there reminds me of something. Okay, so for example, with parents, right? When parents make their children feel like they need to stick around with them. And I know you're a different case because you know what I'm saying. Like I get it. Some kids want to be around their family all the time, and
Right.
and don't get me wrong, I did too.
Mm-hmm.
But the military forced me.
Out of it.
Yeah, it forced me out of that. And you know what? I'm so happy that I made that decision.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of parents are just like, no, you need to stay close to us.
Right, because it's a matter of putting yourself in a very dangerous situation for a lot of people. You were in the infantry, right?
No, I was a combat engineer.
Okay, no. What was I thinking? Yeah, we're both combat engineers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So people don't call it a combat MOS; they call it a combat support.
Nah, we're a combat MOS.
Look, don't tell an infantry guy that; they will lose their mind. Don't tell an
Okay.
artillery guy that. Don't tell a Cav scout that. Jeez, oh whiz.
Well, you know what I'm gonna tell them?
What?
I'm gonna tell them with these hands. I couldn't think of nothing. I couldn't think of nothing else.
Anyways, it is a dangerous job, route clearance, mines, and it really set in perspective a lot for me. I was going through training, and they were like, "Yeah, you step on a mine, you could turn into pink mist."
That's your legs, bruh.
More than your legs in a lot of scenarios.
Had a little, yeah, man. You could have been walking around here.
Shredded meat sandwich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be blended. You'd be shredded.
I
It'd
hate
be
you.
the Woodhouse shredded.
I hate you.
The Woodhouse shredded.
No, but the Taliban built basically a roadside RPG with the inverted copper cone, and when it exploded, it had only a range of about 3 feet, but the copper would invert, and when it inverted, it would superheat, and it would melt, and it would punch through basically any armored vehicle that we had. There was nothing, even with ceramics, with metal plating, we couldn't stop
So
it.
shape charge.
No,
You talking about?
wasn't a shape charge.
Wasn't a shape charge?
I forget what it's called.
Okay. So for those who don't know what we're talking about,
Imagine a copper cone. The copper cone is like a cup. It's like holding stuff. And then at the end of that is your explosives. Okay, boom, it blows up. The cone inverts and now goes to a point. So what happens is it punches through because it's molten metal. It's going through like butter basically. And it comes out the other side. It comes out the other side of the vehicle, and it really doesn't do much damage on the inside, but what it does do is it creates an overpressure. And when it punches through the other side of that vehicle, it sucks everything inside out of a hole the size of, let's say, your chest. And I don't know if you know human anatomy, we're not that big. So it would literally just rip people apart. And that's what was causing roadside deaths just left and right, because we had armored everything up, but they found a way around it.
Yeah.
So putting that into perspective, I was like, oh my gosh. Going into the military gave me a lot of confidence, a ton of confidence. But at the same time, it put into perspective that I'm a man now. Like, this is, at any time I could have to give my life for my country, for the guys, girls around me. That was a real sobering thing for me going through training.
Yeah, I mean that's what my homies back in the day would tell me. They were like, "Yo, you finna die if you go out there." I'm like, "Bruh, I'm gonna get shot out here anyway. So if I get shot, I might as well get shot making some money. So tax free. Money.
They don't call him Lynn the investor for no reason. He's investing in.
Bro, I was just thinking like, the Woodhouse shredded.
No.
It's still on my mind.
No. Look at me.
The Woodhouse blast?
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Why?
Why?
Why you gotta do stuff like that? Anyway, back.
Why do you gotta be so rude? Don't you know that
So
I'm
let's
human
backtrack.
too?
Let's backtrack. How do you feel?
Okay.
And this is about you.
Mm.
When it comes to the household and religion,
Okay.
putting that on the child, because I'm gonna tell you from experience. Them church girls, they some freaks. They is some freaks.
Well, starting on the premise that no human being is perfect.
No human. That's correct.
And none of humankind will be perfect.
I think we're pretty close.
You've lost your ever-loving
Yeah.
mind. In certain families, you'll see a dynamic of, on the outside, you see them as very like, oh, the perfect little family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's happening behind the doors.
Oh, bro, they
of
be
that
probably
family.
doing like sacrifices and
No,
stuff.
no, no, not even that. It's just the the fathers and mothers will go to church, take their kids along, and the kids will see two different sides of their parents. They will see one where they're smiling, happy, they're lovey-dovey on everybody, and then oh, that rhymed on accident. And then they'll go home and they'll yell and scream at each other. They'll curse at each other. They'll do all these things that are so um,
Contradict.
contradictory to the book that they're teaching their kids about.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is why so many young kids will reject it or will try to go their own way. And I think it's so sad to see. And then later on in life, a lot of those kids do come back to a level of faith, but it is scarring on people. I know a family that we thought everything was good with, and then they got a divorce quick, fast, in a hurry. Like it was a bad divorce, and I was like, what in the world is going on? Like I thought this family was like good to go. They were nice to each other, a nice little family, and it just fell apart. And I was like, my goodness. So I think it's very important that mothers, fathers are truly reflecting whatever their religious preference is.
But what if they're just super? What if they're doing all of that, right? Because I've seen families where they are doing all of that, and they are what they teach in the church is what they teach at home, and they follow it by the book.
Yeah.
But some children can feel overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. They feel a level of pressure to perform to that same extent.
Mm.
Personally, I've learned so much in my now adult life about my faith and all that stuff. Just through personal experiences, through kind of digging in and learning a little bit more, it takes a level of that. It takes a level of wanting to know more. And I think people just assume that they've gone to, let's say, church all their life. They know everything that could be learned. And it's in those moments where they say, I don't need to learn anymore. Why am I even concerned with it? I can walk away with this and be fine. And you do see people walk away from it. It's hard for the families because they have taught them this all their life, and they think, what have I done wrong? But it's an interesting perspective is God didn't create robots.
Mm-hmm.
So we are given free will. And it's so much, to go on a religious aspect here, it is so much more special to God for you to choose him than for him just to make you choose him.
Right.
So that's kind of a perspective on it. I definitely don't have all the answers. I'm no theologian by any means, but it's just a take on it. From what I've seen, personal experience, I went to a small Christian school. I definitely saw kids that walked away from it. Right.
No, keep going.
Well, that was about it.
Oh no, we good. We good. Okay.
What do you mean we good?
No, I was just checking the time.
Can we just talk? Can we just talk?
Oh, okay. Okay. Little Faniel.
Listen,
Faniel Caesar.
I'm a fan of Khaled.
Okay. Okay. Wait, that wasn't. Wow, I thought that was Daniel
Wow.
Caesar. Wow. Oh my God. How do you know more? Look, don't act like you know R&B more than me.
Listen, R&B's nice.
Sir?
I liked certain R&B.
Sir.
What?
All right. That just made me think of something. See, in my household, right?
Uh-huh.
I was raised on R&B, right? Yeah, I was raised on all that love making type stuff.
Oh.
Actually, I consider myself a pretty good R&D
okay.
as well.
We're gonna need to cite some references.
Don't hate.
All right, and first on the call line, we've got.
Oh, you've heard it, man. You know all my exes be trying to come back, man.
Don't. Okay, first off, stop sucking on your teeth. Don't act like you're over here.
Oh, you a hater. You a hater.
Listen,
You a hater.
I'm not. Hey, I'm I'm good at what I do. Hashtag no complaints.
Oh, you getting to know them on the inside?
I don't know what you're talking about. If by that you mean their heart, absolutely. They're
Damn.
appreciated.
You go that far in?
That's cannibalistic. I don't know why I wouldn't go. I'm not excaliburing their soul.
Okay, how do you feel about parents who don't teach their children about sex?
I think everybody has to have that talk at some point.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. But I mean, unless they are literally in a vegetable state where they can't even comprehend it, which is terrible for those parents.
Yo, yeah. I'm sorry.
But in those situations, like, yeah, you gotta have the talk at some point.
Yeah.
Because, like we said earlier, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
At the very least, safe sex is important.
Yo, I've been getting some practice. I got a little bit of practice on game night at your house.
What?
Remember I had to tell the story of the birds and the bees to your little brother?
The trombone and the armpits.
Oh man!
Oh, my
All right, so check this out, right? Check this out, everybody. Check this out.
Oh my god.
So there's this game. What's the name of the game?
Furt.
Right? Furt. It's weird.
F-U-R-T.
Yeah, weird ass game. So we start playing this game, and this game is revolved around. I would say.
Do you want me to explain it?
Please explain.
Okay, because I could tell you were really. You were stretching there.
Yeah.
So the game is basically your
Improvising.
standard board goes around in a spiral circle towards the middle of this volcano. In the middle of the volcano, it's a cardboard volcano. You have a bunch of these little papers. On the papers are written just random words, nouns, whatever. Okay, so you pull a card, and he pulled a card that you had to talk for basically 30 seconds, whatever the timer was. We have a little sand timer. And the game is supposed to be awkward, funny, put you in uncomfortable situations that you might not want to complete. But it's still family appropriate.
A little bit of improv.
Very much improv. I'm a big fan of those games.
Yeah.
So, our boy,
Your boy.
hey, pulled a card that he had to talk about the birds and the bees using two of the nouns that he pulled. And one was trombone and the other was armpit.
Yo.
Take it away.
And okay, let me tell you something, all right? I'll tell you just how I did. So I explained to him, I was like, look.
Uncle Lynn's.
This is how the birds and the bees? Birds and the bees work, right?
Uncle Lynn's.
With the reference of a trombone and an armpit. I'm like, okay, first of all, the trombone meets the armpit, right?
Oh.
All right? The trombone is excited and starts making the little trombone noise, whatever it is. It hits a note, right?
Ooh.
And it extends.
Oh,
right?
For some people, not very far.
Some people not very far, and that's okay.
That's okay.
You just can't hold your notes as well as the other trombone. That's cool. So the trombone sees the armpit, and he extends his little trombone thing as far as he can.
With consent.
Very
of course. Important.
The armpit, right?
Mm.
The armpit sees the trombone and gets happy, right? And then it starts making the noise through the sheer perspiration that it creates, right? And it starts to make the armpit noise, right? When you do the thing, and you wave your arm up and down and you make the noise, that's what I'm talking about, right? So then the trombone, right, gets with the armpit, and then they come together and they make beautiful, sweaty, moist music together.
Oh. And that was the 30 seconds, a longer 30 seconds. But he had to explain that to my little brother, who is just going into, I think he's in high school now.
That boy is scarred for life now. He's scarred.
Yeah, well.
Hey, man.
At least he got the talk.
He learned.
It's important.
I learned him.
Good for you.
Complete stranger.
Not anymore.
That's right. I'm an adult.
This took a turn.
But, but no, how would you explain what? Okay, if your daughter came up to you and was like, your daughter now, came up to you was like, Daddy,
Yes, my sweet angel.
tell me about sex.
No, you're going to stay a virgin forever. I love you.
You wrong.
Did I handle that wrong?
You wrong.
Let me try again.
You wrong.
Let me try again.
Okay, Daddy, can you tell me about sex?
What's the boy's name?
Her name is
Oh.
Julia.
Well, that's gonna be a little harder then. Because you guys are gonna. It's gonna be harder to procreate.
Will it be harder?
It's.
I don't think girls can.
Stop. Stop. Anyways, the traditional birds and the bees talk, where they can actually get pregnant. You know, because there are certain ways that they can't with the same sex. That's typically how it doesn't happen.
They can get pregnant.
I bet that changes the conversation, doesn't it?
It probably would. I just threw a curveball at you.
It was
Yeah.
it was a good one.
I'm saying
It was a good.
trying to keep you on your toes.
Anyways, birds and bees. I hate the term birds and bees.
I don't even know what that means.
I really don't either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Like I grew up just hearing the word like pussy excessively.
Oh, good.
Like excessively.
That's okay.
Excessively.
I think everybody got that you have heard that word excessively.
It has to say it 3 times so people know. So you learn.
Anyways, honestly, I would get how do I want anatomy, but I want to say anatomical. Did I say that right?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, I would go down to the anatomy. Listen, my mom's a labor and delivery nurse. At like age 12, I watched The Miracle of Life. Do you know what's in The Miracle of Life? You have to watch a vaginal birth. A vaginal birth.
You have PTSD probably from that.
I watched it twice.
Oh, you scarred.
Once, when my mom said, "Let's watch The Miracle of Life."
Oh.
It's a great, very educational movie.
Yo, your mama go
And
hard. Man.
then, I went to health class in like 7th, 6th grade, and they're like, "Okay, we're kids. We're gonna watch The Miracle of Life." And I went, "I've already seen that." They're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, my mom delivers babies. This will be the second time." They were like, "Oh, okay, oh." They really, I'm so sure that they had never been like, "Yeah, I saw that on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a pretty okay, rating. Like a not, it's not a 69. It's above a 69 because you can't get pregnant on a 69. That's how."
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I thought you were trying to do math for a second.
No.
That's cool.
2 + 2. That's 4. Quick maths.
Quick maths. But look though, so you wouldn't. So what? No, seriously. What would you? What would you tell your son?
I would give him. Say, you sure you want to know about it? Because you're gonna learn.
Yeah, of course, he's gonna say yes. I
Yeah,
wanna know.
Dad, I do want to know.
If you say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah. Yeah, I would give him a talk. Be like, so you've got a penis. A girl has a vagina. If you have an orgasm, you release semen, and that would fertilize a girl's egg and get them pregnant.
Not necessarily. See, when I was younger.
What?
What?
Okay, hold on a second. Not necessarily.
No. Hear me out.
That's how.
The way you explained it.
That's the process.
No, the way you explained it.
That's the process.
See, because that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah.
But then I was younger and I was dry humping girls, right? So when I was dry humping girls, like the white stuff came out, right? I was like, oh my God, there's white stuff coming out. What is this? And I would pay close attention to those girls that I had dry humped. And I'd be like, yo.
Are you getting bigger?
Like, yo, she getting big. But it wasn't because she was pregnant. It was because she was just eating a lot and probably on the way to getting
Oh
obese.
my
So,
gosh.
you know what I'm saying?
You thought you
So
humped them into a pregnancy.
I thought I humped it. I was like, yo, I must got like this is the way you do it. Like that's crazy. Like
Oh my gosh.
my little thing's strong.
I'm so strong.
I'm so strong.
Yeah.
Yo, for real, bro. Like I was like, okay, they just getting obese. That's all they getting. They're not getting pregnant. They're not getting like it's fine. We're good. I learned that later, like years later.
Thank goodness. They were just getting obese. Oh my gosh.
Hey man,
It happens.
get big, man. Like I look at some of the people like that I went to school. I'm like, God damn, you big, yo. God damn. Like you used to be the baddest one in high school.
You let yourself all the way go.
You let yourself go, yo.
You know those water slides, the ones that are like really curvy and they go around a lot of turns,
Yeah.
right? And then there's the ones that drop straight down.
Yep.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one that they.
That's another thing, right? So parents never teach the importance of a balanced meal, right?
Yep.
They do not.
Okay, and very interesting. Okay, we've had a lot of exchange students at my house, and they tell exchange students when they come over, listen, you're probably going to put on about 15 pounds when you come to the United States because our foods are so saturated in fat, in saltiness, in all these things, right? But also the portion sizes that we give are so large, right? So the exchange students have to kind of mentally prep for this because, you know, our food's obviously great depending on who your cook is, if your parents are good at cooking or they just take you out all the time, that they do legitimately put on that weight. And it's a big worry for a lot of the exchange students. So it really comes down to a level of portion sizing because in Europe and many other countries, they are very strict on their portions.
Yeah.
And that's why they're able to stay a little more fit, more thin. You know, that's the big thing. As well as, you know, people get on these crazy diet trends and a lot of them aren't that healthy. Like scientifically not that healthy.
Exactly. So that's why I just try to tell people, I'm just like, look, yo, you gotta make sure you're eating your vegetables.
Yep.
It's all about the what is it called? The
Pyramid?
Sure, whatever. The thirds rule. I follow the thirds rule, right?
So what are the thirds rule?
Okay. 1/3 of my plate, you'll always see it. 1/3 of my plate, 1/3 will be no. 1/3 of my plate will be the protein, so the meat,
okay,
and the starch.
Gotcha.
Right, that's a third.
Gotcha.
And the other 2/3. Sorry, I'm messing up. Will be vegetables of some sort.
2/3.
Yeah, 2/3.
So you want 1/3 meat and starch.
Yeah.
2/3 vegetable.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
That's how I do. That's how I try to stay lean. That's how I try to stay.
It's definitely. I mean, it's. We do
good.
not get enough vegetables. It's just on the average, as a teenager, child, even adult, we just don't preach to eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, and I was lucky because I grew up very poor, right?
So, well, no, hey, we did too.
Yeah, so my dad never really, like, I was like, Dad, like, why can't I go to Wendy's? Like, why can't we go to, and Wendy's is banging, right? Why can't we go to McDonald's all the time? Why can't we go to Popeyes? And sometimes we get Popeyes because my dad was just like, oh, yeah, we're going to get us some chicken. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be stereotypical.
Yeah.
And Popeyes is bomb. Oh, my God.
Except the biscuits.
Their biscuits is bomb as hell, but they'll choke the shit out of you.
I was about to say.
Make sure you have a gallon of water on you. No, so he would never have us eat out. He would always cook us like food. My dad couldn't really cook, so he always cook us like these bland ass meals, bruh.
Now that's surprising.
But they were always so healthy.
Right.
Kind of. Ish. But he would always tell me, he'd be like, and my dad's like, my dad doesn't know it, but he's kind of a health freak, right? Like, but he's a ridiculous health freak. And I don't mean ridiculous as in, like, oh, you gotta eat your quinoa, you gotta eat this, like
Right,
you
right,
better.
right.
He is ridiculous, as in, I would get sick, and he'd be like, yo, are you drinking your water? Are you drinking your milk to make your bones strong? Are you drinking your orange juice? And I'd be like, Daddy, like, yeah. He was like, okay. So I'll go in the fridge, and there'd be orange everything in there. There'd be orange juice. There'd be orange Kool-Aid. There'd be orange Sunny D's in there. There'd be
Oh my
orange
gosh.
soda.
I love Sunny D.
There'd be
Oh my
orange
gosh.
soda, bruh. And I'm like, Daddy, like, this is bad for you. He's like, motherfucker, it's orange. Drink it. Like, that just makes sense. Like,
Dad, please get us something else.
I'm like, I get it. This is supposed to be healthy, but that's not healthy. He's like, Lindsay, it's orange. Drink it. And bruh, like, I swear, yo, I swear, I have a sister that can say that I'm completely right about my childhood. So, bruh. But yeah, man, like bland chicken, like I learned how to eat things that weren't salty.
You know what's interesting?
What's up?
Another reason why there is such an obesity problem in the United States is you can attribute it a lot to welfare and a level of cheap food is junk food.
Yes.
The healthy options, especially the organic options and stuff like that, are not affordable. They have not been made affordable because companies are mass producing and mass pushing these easily manufactured foods. And when you're on there are many Americans who are on a very, very strict budget. Some are even on welfare that they just can't afford healthy foods. It's not within their means. Now, you can always say, yes, they can. They can make the proper, cuts. Well, not even cuts, but let's say the proper choices, prep meals, stuff like that. A lot of them just aren't able to do that. And it's hard. But as well as like drinks, soda, so bad for you. But people just destroy it all the time. And you see people there's something in West Virginia called Mountain Dew mouth. It originated from this state. The amount of Mountain Dew that they were consuming.
Mountain Dew mouth.
I'm dead serious. It is a dental condition. The teeth in your mouth will start to rot because of the amount of Mountain Dew intake that you are doing. It basically dissolves your teeth and corrodes them.
Sounds like people from England.
Yeah. They're just stereotypically known to have bad teeth. They drink a lot of tea, though. A lot of tea.
Yeah, they got a whole time
Tea
put
time.
to the side for it.
Do you know that some people will get sick if they miss tea time? They are that addicted to tea.
What the hell's in there?
It's not.
Must be cracking
No,
clotted cream or
no.
something.
There's caffeine, obviously, but like it's such a normal thing that it's like, okay, there is probably a level of addiction to the amounts of caffeine and sugar that they're intaking with tea. So when they miss it, they feel as though they're coming down off of that. Then that's just a theory, but
Yeah. Well, we've been up here for like a good hour.
You don't want to keep talking?
I'm kind of hungry.
I did. The chickens is ready.
The chickens is ready, bro. But what can we get from this as far as like children?
As far as raising your children,
yeah.
I think there are a ton of different methods, and I believe that a lot of it's trial and error, a lot of patience, but also a level of your children have to learn on their own at some point. There are going to be times in your children's lives where you say, they are not going to listen to my advice. They haven't been listening to my advice. And as hard as it is to say, let them learn from their mistakes, you're going to have that time at some point. And it's just going to be a level of letting go and then hopefully being there to not say I told you so, but to say, this is why I tell you this and that, X, Y, Z. But there are 100 ways different to, raise kids. And not to say ours is the perfect by any, stretch of the imagination.
Man, I want to tell you something. That was beautiful. Right?
Well, with that being said, this has been Well, it can't be a perfect podcast, huh? This has been the Woodhouse Blend, and thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram.
Go follow the B Blend. That's TheBBLEND. ASMR videos coming soon. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Don't lick cactuses.
Is that how you get to know them on the inside?
No, absolutely not.
It's pretty sensual.
Are you going to tell them you're...
Yeah, okay. So mine is L the Investor. That's LTHEINVESTOR.
Too fast.
I'm here to help you invest into
The future.
the future as well as your lives
Oh my goodness.
with this podcast.
That... Incredible.
It's been great. Deuce.
Raw!